So I've been playing Wuthering Waves pretty much on and off since 2.0, and I'm not gonna lie, I've made pretty much every single mistake you're not supposed to make when playing one of these gacha games. So I can tell you from experience what not to do and how I got here. Basically, if there ever was a bricked account, I have it, and somehow I still do kind of alright. But regardless, here's how not to end up where I got and how I got here in the first place. Number one most important thing is you're gonna want to manage your resources. That's the number one most important thing in any gacha game. It's honestly like more than half the game is just managing resources. See, me, I'm kind of schizophrenic when I play video games, and I'm not used to having limited resources. So I might play one character and next week I'm playing the other character. So the way it went for me is I was playing Spectral Rover, then I got unlocked Havoc Rover, and I'm like, well, obviously this is OP, so I gotta level up Havoc Rover. Then I'm like, well, now I'm a Havoc main, I need a Danjin to pair with my Rover for that Havoc boost. So I roll for Danjin, end up with Jinsei. Don't ask me how. So I start leveling up Jinsei, then I realized, oh, I need coordinated attacks. So I start leveling up more Tefi just to come find out that this Fedora dude doesn't even need any investment, and he does basically everything Mortefi does. So as you can see, you're gonna wanna look stuff up. You probably already know this if you're this far in the video, but gacha games are not the typical game. Time and money factor in how much resources you're gonna have to level up your character. You can't just grind the same way you would grind, I don't know, say an MMO for experience. You gotta pay for that stuff. So you really wanna be hyper aware of how you're using your resources. That's my first tip. Another piece of advice I could give you is not to lose the 50-50. Don't do it. And I know what you're gonna say, but how? Just don't, bro. I don't know what to tell you. Get lucky. Jokes aside, I think I've lost 4 out of my 5 50-50s, and it takes a toll on you. That was in a row, by the way. Just 4 in a row, just lost. And it really limits your options and what you can do with your account. Of course, you could technically pass the game free to play, that's what they tell me, but not all of us are god gamers with god artifact rolls. So it really hinders a lot of what I can do on my account. To this day, I have troubles passing certain towers depending on the element, which is another piece of advice I'll get into in a bit. But yeah, it's not so much the characters that are the issue, it's the 5-star weapons that I missed out on by only being able to choose between the two, whether it be getting weapons or characters. Because while some characters can scrape by, a lot of characters in these games just need their 5-star weapons or some sort of 5-star counterpart. And you just have to get lucky to do that. So yeah, I would have reset my account multiple times, trust me, but on the PlayStation, it takes 30 days of not logging in to delete my account, which, you know, in that time I could be literally grinding, getting gems, and I've honestly just reached the point of no return. I've got characters like Grant and Jinsei, and I don't want to give that up. So yeah, the FOMO's hitting me hard, and all around it would probably be a net positive for me to just completely restart at this point. But yeah, I'm pretty much stuck with this, unless that would make a good YouTube video. To this day, I'm suffering with this issue as I lack the proper DPS for every element, and in the end game they're constantly changing which weaknesses and buffs you get depending on your element. I guess if you're an ultra royal or you have crazy equipment and echoes, maybe none of this matters. Maybe you can just out DPS everything. Maybe you're a dungeon main that just solos everything. But for us normies, you're gonna want to at least try to diversify your DPSs so you have an easier time with the tower. Getting Verena and Shorekeeper now, part of me wanted to just prove I could play this game without these characters, since a lot of people say you can do anything with any character, none of the meta matters, play who you want. But while some of that is true, a lot of the issue here is not only that the game is all around harder and you don't have these 2 characters buffing everything, but a lot of the guides in this game are built around Verena and Shorekeeper. Even the in-game guides will tell you most of the meta teams are to use Verena and Shorekeeper. So you kind of have to either experiment with yourself or go out of your way to find ways to make really good teams, and it's just kind of stressful and all around annoying. So yeah, definitely second guess overlooking Shorekeeper or Verena. Yeah, I would pick them up if you can. Thank God for Grant, Changli, and Lupa, or I wouldn't have any good teams on my account. Another thing I could just tell you is to just build Sanwa. While she's not always the best in slot, she's really good at buffing people who use basic attack, and she just pretty much fits into any team. So a lot of times where I would just need somebody to fill a slot, I would wish I had this character leveled up, which I don't. So yeah, I wish I would have done that since the beginning of the game. Just a really solid character that I overlooked, and to this day I haven't fully utilized. So That's another tip. Don't impulsively roll on characters just because. You should always plan how you're going to use your asteroid. Because with me, I randomly saw a Chang Li rerun and I just went ham. I had a lot of gems. I wasn't that invested in the game. So I rolled and I lost the 50-50. Now I had to commit. Ended up getting Chang Li, but right after that, Shorekeeper released. So you're going to want to plan exactly how to spend your gems. You're going to want to have enough for even if you lose the 50-50, you could get the character that you want. The issue with this is you're still going to want the weapon. So I haven't quite figured that out yet. This game does give you a lot of asteroid, but losing the 50-50 and getting your character's weapon, it's pretty hard to get everything you want free to play. I'm not going to lie. Avoid the misinformation and take everything with a grain of salt. Even what I say, I'm trying to be as generic and possible with the tips I give you, but even then, a lot of the times on YouTube there's just a lot of misinformation in this community. I'm not gonna lie, especially when it comes to leaks of characters. They'll tell you a character is gonna be this element, or it's gonna be this type of weapon, or this type of event's gonna come, and then it just doesn't happen. So always take the information you hear on the internet with a grain of salt. Even some guides I've heard compared to the in-game guides, you know, some people just say things. So just keep that in mind with this community. There's a lot of misinformation. It's not as big as, say, something like Genshin Impact was in its peak. So there's just not as much information out there. So sometimes people get things wrong. We're only human. Keep an eye out and keep everything with a grain of salt. And that's pretty much everything I can think of off the top of my head on how not to brick your account. Let me know if you guys have any tips of what not to do, mistakes you've made. And let me know if anybody has a more bricked account than me, because I just don't think it's possible. At this point, I just want to see how far this goes. And if I can bring it back, I'm like 20 into this guaranteed banner. I'm finally going to have a Verena. Let's go, baby. But let me know if you guys have a more chopped account than mine. I don't think it's possible. We can do a contest out of it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say. It is what it is. Peace. Also, I do have a second account, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, this account is chopped. It's cooked. It's bricked. Peace.